I'm finishing up the end wall, and Frank was available and he came and moved all my trees down. These are all my citrus trees. I think there's 7 citrus trees and then maybe a green stalk and a potted plant. But I just wanted to, this just gave some perspective on the size of this thing. Let me pan back a little bit. 7 citrus trees down there. Granted, they're small trees. They're probably, I don't know, 24 to 36 inches tall, a meter tall. But look at the height I've got there. It's just amazing. Anyway, I'm going to move to the other side, show you the end wall. Or I guess before I leave, I'll show the fan. So I got the fan mounted, and the whole rear wall is done in tongue and groove cedar. And I'll show it to you from the other side. Okay, here it is from the outside. We got the vent fan mounted, got the entire wall done in cedar. I took the plywood gusset off that was on that top of that rafter, so it's all cedar. I think it's really going to pop when I finish the trimming. The roof cap is going to be white roof cap, and then the drip edge going here will be white. That's what I'm going to do next, or at least the drip edge. But just want to show it now, and I think it's going to really trim it out and make it pop once the white goes up. Anyway, I'm going to get started on it. Okay, so I've got the drip edge put on this end wall panel. I do think it cleans it up a lot. But I do want to talk about the polycarbonate panels. And let me swing around to the polycarbonate side. And this is just some general things about using these panels. One thing you got to remember is this double wall, but it's got tunnels. It's got tunnels down here going all the way to the top, so it becomes a dust issue. They gave me some aluminum caps to cap each panel, but I couldn't get them on. It's just too tight of a fit. Let me zoom in up here. So every top panel has aluminum foil tape wrapped around, and then as we get to the bottom, I don't have it on all of them because we were struggling with the panels, but they make a dust tape. Got this tape right here. I guess it allows condensation to go through. It doesn't allow dust or bugs in, but allows moisture to escape. I mean, it's going to end up condensating at the bottom and then drip out. But more important to that is your spacing. I mean, as you can see from my project, they're running on every rafter. Well, we couldn't do a 4-foot spacing on it because of the way it's mounted. This kind of shows what we have. That screws down to the rafter, and then the panel butts up to it on each side, and I think it still says leave a little bit of gap. But we had to account for this gap. So if we had done 4-foot spacing, once we got to the second panel, this panel would have ended, you know, an inch or two out past it. So based on this panel with this gap and the gap they wanted on each side, the spacing is actually 49.5 inches. Very, very important. And then on a 4-foot wide panel, they want you every 6 feet to have a cross brace. And based on their instructions, I should have 1 screw in the middle, which I hadn't done yet. And when you're screwing down, you don't just put the screw through the panel. You have to pre-drill with a drill bit. They want the hole bigger than the screw to allow for expansion and contraction. Anyway, it wasn't important with this theatrical system, but I'm going to zoom in up top here. I did put 2 up here, but we pre-drilled it, and then we use these washers that came from the same manufacturer. It's a washer with, looks like a neoprene or rubber on the bottom of it. And you got to make sure you just gently screw the panel down, don't dent it at all, because you've got to have expansion and contraction. But I hadn't talked about this and thought it was worth some detail. I mean, Nick figured out the spacing. He's a tile guy, so he understands grout joints, and he understood this. And this whole thing was built without us having to cut a single sheet. I mean, the length was built for the panels. I'm just going to get a better view of it. Anyway, I'm so impressed. You know, we use treated 2x6s and they're wet from the treating process, so you get a lot of bowing as it dries out. But I'm so impressed with how straight and level everything looks. I mean, everything's good. So anyway, I've got to completely build the front wall panel with the door, then we'll put the roof cap on. We're going to save that for another video, except for I'll kind of talk about the front wall. It's about 3 o'clock and the sun's kind of hitting straight at it. I don't know what I'm going to do here, if I'm going to do partial cedar and then the clear panel up top, or do all clear panel or do all cedar. I think I pretty much know that the door is going to have the clear panel on it. But we're just getting to the point where this is actually west facing, so it gets a lot of sun. Anyway, we'll figure that part out and make that the next video, because I got to keep going on this. I need to have it done before the next freeze, because I do not want to move the citrus trees again. That's part of why I'm building this. If it's going to freeze, I'm having to move all the trees into the garage. Anyway, I think that's it for today. I hope you appreciate this. I'm excited about this whole project. I'm just going to try to get a view down to see how good of a job Nick did on it. I mean, that's pretty straight for treated lumber. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good day.